What up, guys? It's Parker with the Social Anxiety Remedy, and today we're going to be covering what we were talking about yesterday when it comes to what we feed our brain when we're struggling with social anxiety. And I'm going to give you practical tips and tools that you can begin using to be monitoring what you're feeding your brain and what really needs to be going into it to build more confidence and feel comfortable around others. Okay, so let's get into it. So as always, guys, make sure you click the links below for the free trainings as well as our Facebook group. If you guys have requested to join already, I'm letting everybody in tomorrow, so don't worry about that. And what I'm also going to do tomorrow is post kind of like a thing where I'm asking you guys what you really want to be hearing on the podcast, on the video, on the channel and whatnot, to get your input on it so that we can have like more of a one-on-one connection. I can know what you guys really want to be hearing when it comes to social anxiety as well as the remedy in total in general. All right, guys? So make sure you do that. But anyways, getting into what it is that we feed our brain. What I want to kind of focus on right here is a little bit of a dopamine detox and starting to take notice what it is that we put in our brain and what is fueled by. And what it always kind of comes down to for me, and when I see and when I'm working with other people, and what is the biggest thing that they can do immediately to start fueling their brain and stop feeding it the shit that's actually keeping them down and keeping them stuck with that dark force attached to them, where they feel like they can't get out and they're trapped, right? And they want to do something, they want to embody this new character and this new self, become their ultimate self, right? And this ultimate person, but there's just something holding them back. The thing that I always can identify and pin out is like phone usage, right? Using your phone, and you have to kind of think of dopamine in a weird and tricky way, right? Because in our past, right, in the caveman days, before phones, before all this technology, you had to actually go out, you had to be social, you had to do things and produce things and create in the world, and do all these other actions and physical activity and whatnot. Nowadays, you can get this little simple dopamine detox by just looking at your phone, by just getting a text message pop up from your phone. You can feel validated and you feel secure when really it's doing nothing for you in the long run, okay? And so what I always like to pin out for people and pinpoint is two things, okay? And they're going to sound kind of weird, but they dramatically influence your day-to-day life, okay? And we've talked about how important thoughts are, okay? Thoughts run your life, okay? As above, okay? As above, so below. Okay, as within, so outside. Whatever is inside of your mind, the thoughts that you have inside your mind, that's going to create your outside external reality. Okay, so the two things that I want to pinpoint right now are: what music do you listen to, and what shows or movies are you watching? Okay, right now, and start looking at that and start to see the pattern. Okay, what is it that you're doing? A lot of the times when I was really struggling with social anxiety, when I was struggling with putting myself out there and whatnot, I would be listening to just absolute dark and depressing music. Okay, and that's what most people do, right? And we're told that use music, use other outside influences like this, but you have to start to really check yourself. Yesterday in the podcast, I really wanted to implant inside of you guys' minds to start thinking critically on your own. Okay, stop using other outside influences to think for you. One of the main mantras that you can have is everything within me is already good. Okay, I have everything that I need already, so that you have and you're able to start living within abundance instead of scarcity, and that makes things so much easier for you. Okay, because one of the most important things that you can do, okay, when you're struggling with social anxiety is first accept it. Okay, you have to accept where you're at. If you're not accepting it, and if you're always just gonna beat yourself up about it, if you're always beating yourself up about like, man, Parker told me to do this today, I'm not doing it. Man, I can't. I'm not going out. I'm not putting myself out there. Blah 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 blah. Okay, it's really going to hinder you from ever taking action. Okay, because you're gonna be like, shit, the things that I'm not doing, I'm not doing them, and it's going to really not be a great motivator for you. So what you need to do, and this is just truthful in all areas of life, like you need to accept where you're at right now and understand that where you are at, it's not an it's not from anything else. It is completely from you. It is completely your doing, your past and your future. Okay, and when you're able to realize that, is such a freeing feeling because you understand that you are now in control. So what you first must do is accept where you are at, so that you can then build on and continue building on. And like honestly, right now it's so weird, right? We're in a like goddamn global pandemic. We're in a global pandemic right now. So it's okay to be feeling unhappiness. It's okay to be feeling confused about where you're at right now. It's okay to be having all these emotions be popping up. Like I've started to feel that so much in my life recently, okay? So much where I'm just like, man, there's something off. I feel like something's off, and it's just that human connection that we really need. Okay, so it's okay to be feeling the way that you're feeling right now. If you're feeling much more depressed, right? If you're feeling much more confused, if you're feeling much more unmotivated, right? It's okay to feel like that. Okay, it's okay that you have felt like that. You have to accept it so that you can then give yourself permission to start moving on and doing great things with your life. Okay, so getting back to the music and the movies and whatnot. So take a look at where you're at. Okay, through Disney movies, right? I've talked about this before. We've all been conditioned socially, right, for what's supposed to be the identity that we're supposed to have. It's like gender roles, right? As like a man and a woman, as a shy person, right? There's always that shy person in the movie, or there's always that like underdog, right? And we're just waiting to be magically called by that prince or that princess to say that we're special, to say that, you're a wizard, Harry, right? And so what is it that you're watching? Okay, is it actually in turn making you feel like you're spending more time watching movies in your bed and doing all that and being a homebody, which is okay, right? But if you really want to be great with this, if you really want to start going out, communicating, living a really great life, okay, which some people don't want to do that, okay, and it's fine, okay, it's fine. You just have to figure out who you are. The very first step is figuring out your purpose, your life's destiny, and once you're able to figure that out, a lot of things are much more clear ahead of you. Okay, so that's like what I always recommend to like my students, right, and inside my courses, to first figure out what the hell it is that you want and figure out what motivates you to get there. Okay, but when it comes to music, like I used to love, you guys know Lil Peep. Okay, I used to love Lil Peep. Like I would listen to him all the time, constantly, and I still love him, right? But I can't listen to it anymore. I can barely listen to it because I know, even if I'm super happy, even if I'm having an amazing freaking day, I listen to it and then just something happens. And it's because our thoughts influence our reality so much. And especially in music, as it gets to like kind of the different waves, as you might want to look into, and then it comes like alpha, delta, and shit like that, right? And beta and whatnot. These things have a massive influence on your mind. And so, songs like, you'll hear things like, Ariana Grande will have a thing where it's just like, I want it, I got it. I want it, I got it, right? She wants it, she gets it. She's putting that self out there. She's embodying that person. She's saying those things, which in turn allows her to, right, be that person. And so it's not a great example, but it is something that people are doing consciously. Okay, thoughts are so absolutely important. Okay, so when we're talking about embodying this new person and what we feed our brain, something that I think is a massive advantage that we have with media, okay, using our phones, because technology, guys, I know I bash on it all the time, but it can be your greatest resource as a form of like mentorship and people that you can look to, that you actually want to strive to be, and you can start modeling and becoming that person and picking out the exact characteristics that you want and start embodying that. So I always recommend, find somebody that you look up to, find somebody that you want to be online, whether it's or even in your real life. Start picking out those characteristics, those personalities, and start to try to begin modeling those. Okay, even if it's not who you feel you are right now, like if that's who you want to be, begin modeling it. You start embodying those characteristics, and you're going to see a massive impact in your life. Because remember, okay, as above, so below. Okay, the things that are in your mind, that is going to be the exact same, external life that you're living. Right? We all get what we want. We all get what we want, but sometimes what happens is we get into these comfortable loops within our subconscious and stuff like that, where what we really want is not to do all this hard work, and it's not to go out and put yourself out there and might maybe embarrass yourself a little bit when you're talking to people socially, right? You don't want that, okay? And so the pain that feeling is going to cause you just by thinking of it, okay, your mind subconsciously going to say, no, I actually don't want it, right? So that's why subconscious releases are so important. You guys can actually go below to like one of the very first beginner subconscious releases that you should do. So I definitely recommend doing that. But anyways, what I want to talk about when I was thinking about like modeling somebody is somebody that pops up in my Instagram feed like every single day. And it's this DJ named Fisher. Okay, you guys probably know him. He's massive, right? I think his Instagram's like Follow Fisher TV or something like that. Like, look at that guy. That guy's happy. Okay, and as out there and kind of like obnoxious that he may be, you'll see we've talked about the status hierarchy a lot, where everybody in the world has this own internal map that they place on everybody else. So they'll see somebody high status like this Fisher guy, right, this DJ that's living life, that's super happy, and he has a massive effect on how other people act around him. So if you're on Instagram one day and you're looking at Fisher TV, right, I'd probably like go to it right now. You can probably see it. I feel like I see it every single time when other people are around him. Okay, they take on this like really crazy laugh that he has. Like he laughs like I can't explain it, but it's a very out there laugh. Okay, it's a very loud laugh. And what happens is he's like around people and he does that. Other people start embodying those same exact characteristics because they see him as high status on their character chart, right? Their high status chart, right? The hierarchy. So starting to look at that and starting to see, okay, I want to embody the right person, the right characteristics. Choose the ones that you really want. Okay. So going back to the line, everything popular is wrong, that we talked about yesterday, like one thing that popped up in my head was like the school system. Okay. This like school could be so fucking sick. School could be so cool. And what happens like in mainstream of like everything popular, right? It's going to be, you need to go to school. Okay. You need to get a degree. You need to go in debt and you need to get the first job that pops up that you're like lucky to get. And then people end up, and it's easy to see people end up staying with that job forever. And it feels like they get stuck. Right. And so that was like the popular system nowadays. Right. And people are starting to kind of see through a lot of that bullshit. I'm not saying that everybody should not go to college, right? You guys know my story, where I went to school for 3 months and then I dropped out because it wasn't for me. I wanted to start my business. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, right? There's like 85% of people that go to college, they have no idea what the hell they want to do in their life. And it's just kind of like a filler gap thing that they're told by mainstream, by like by what's popular, that they need to begin doing that. So like with the pandemic going on, right? Everybody started to kind of question things. Everybody's trying to figure out who they really are, what they really want to do. And now is when people are kind of like coming out of the woodworks, right? They're seeing what I'm doing and they're like, wow, you actually had the balls to get out of that and do what you really want to do, right? And it's sometimes you have to go against what is popular. Sometimes you have to listen to this shit that I'm talking about right now that's like always super weird. It's super outlandish, but it works, okay? And I just like always challenge people to do what they like, things that are weird, and just try it out, okay? And if it works, you stick with it. But yeah guys, I wanted to make this video, this challenge, okay, this challenge that you guys can begin doing to get rid of like the dopamine detox. Kind of like, we've been doing these meditation challenges, we've been doing like the 5 tools to face resistance. This challenge is going to be for only a week, okay? Only a week, okay? And so it's going to combine, the cold shower that we talked about yesterday. Okay. So the very first thing that I want you guys to do, like you guys got to do this, is the cold showers. And if you don't know why the cold showers, go to that 5 tool podcast that I did, I think like a week ago. Okay. Cold showers. Okay. No music. And I know it's going to be hard for a lot of people, but it's very doable. Okay. Instead of listening to music on your way to work, okay, instead of listening to music when you usually would, listen to podcasts, listen to things that's going to actually build you up, or read books. Okay. Do like on like Amazon books, right? Get books, and then also check the actual TV shows and the movies that you're watching. And if all possibility, like the people that watch my podcast, right, these are people that are actually usually action takers and are doing what I'm saying. So that's why I want to like actually press this and give this to you guys, because I hear a lot of people, they're like, okay, we can handle it, we can do it. Like, what's some things that we can actually immediately begin doing? That's what I want to start giving you guys. So this week challenge is going to be, don't watch any TV shows, like don't watch any movies, don't watch, YouTube channel, like don't go on YouTube just to like look at YouTube and, get your recommended feed, and on Instagram and on TikTok. Okay. Take a social media break for a week, do cold showers and no music. Okay. And I promise you that you will feel exponentially more happy. On top of that, what I began to start to, feel as of late, and all, like, you guys know, over the year, right, over the year that this podcast has been out, like the remedies changed. Okay, the remedies evolved. We're figuring out what really works for people, exactly for people who are struggling with this. We're niching down as best as possible, right, to social anxiety, exactly, and social anxiety in general. And so a lot of the things that we used to do when it comes to like all these affirmations, all these different meditations, right, it's kind of getting condensed to what's the most powerful thing that you can do. And one of those most powerful things is gratitude. Okay, having gratitude and having your 3 daily gratitude things every morning and whatnot. And so that's the podcast that I want to talk about tomorrow. And I'm going to go into, because it can be a short one, I'm going to go into like the actual logistics and like the wisdom behind why it works, so that you guys aren't like, oh, it's just like a wooey wooey thing, right? I always want to give you that, the wisdom behind why it works, and then the exact things of what you can begin doing to not only make it work in your life, but continue to do it, so it's that repetition, so it actually works and you don't stop. Okay, so that's going to be the podcast tomorrow, guys. Make sure that you go below, get all the training, get all the resources, join the Facebook group so I can hear what you guys want in these podcasts, in this YouTube channel, right? And yeah, I think that is it. We're going to be talking about gratitude tomorrow. See you later.